Hey y'all. So y'all already know who it is, your girl Shereka Renee. And on today, I'm going to be doing a live, yes, live video on home cooking. If you all can hear me, someone let me know by commenting yes. As this is my second time ever going live. It's a hard thing to do, but I want to let you all know, let's do this. So on today, I will be having field peas with snap, macaroni and cheese, fried pork chops, and I'm gonna make brownies. Yes, I was up for making a pound cake, but as we know, there's a food shortages, so I was unable to find some vanilla extraction, so I cannot make that 7-Up pound cake. But stay tuned because it will be on for next time. So let's get into it. I already started cooking some of the stuff, not all of it, not nothing major. I went ahead and boiled the meat so the ham hocks would be ready for the peas because that's what we will work on next. So we'll go ahead and we're going to remove our top to try to get the steam off of that. You cannot cook any food without some fresh dishwater in your sink. So you always make sure that you have fresh, clean water in your sink so you can keep your hand washed at all times, keep your area clean, because no one wants to eat from a house that is not clean. So let's go on with it. I did frozen field peas with snap because they are more easy to do. Some stores don't have even this much due to the food shortage. So this would be a really good home cooked meal. Everything I'm going to prepare today will be made from scratch with my own seasoning for my own taste. So let's get right on in. I got to make sure I got everything positioned well so you guys could see me. I went out and helped my husband cut a little grass, y'all, so I am a little hot, but not too bad. Let me know if I got my camera back too far as I'm trying to get it up a little closer. Okay, that's there. We'll go ahead and mix in the peas. As I stated, the meat was already on cooking on medium. So we have the peas all in. We'll put this in the trash. As I have to use the trash can, I will walk outside the camera, you guys. So we'll go ahead and start adding some seasoning to the peas. I use different seasoning. You have to season to your taste. Whatever you like to use or whatever your family likes to eat. This has been a traditional seasoning to my family, so therefore we use it when we are cooking. Now that I have all the seasoning to this meal, I will go ahead and you have to add something else to this. A lot of people do not know when you're making peas, greens, any of that thing, you have to add something to it. And the reason you will add this particular thing to it is it will help the item that you're cooking to not overflow out your pot. So let's go ahead and grab it. We will add vegetable oil. You will always add vegetable oil to peas, like I said, greens, beans, anything that you're cooking on the stove where you need water so it will not overflow. Excuse me. And you also have to be very judgmental about how much vegetable oil to put over in your pot. Now that I have everything in the pot, you will not stir. Do not stir. Let it cook for a little while before we'll take and stir it. So what I would do is I have it on low. I have the stove on low. So we'll just add the top back to it. And we will go on with the next item that we're cooking today. And that will be to get started with making our brownies. We're going to go ahead and make the brownies so the brownies could be cooled off and ready later for serving. So we'll go ahead and get the oven down to 350. We'll get the oven down to 350. I already had the oven preheated, so it won't take us long to get started. Some of my items that I'm going to use, I have already got out. I have already rinsed out. I have already cleaned. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. We'll move our other items out the way because when we put the brownies on, we'll go ahead and go to the next item, which would be macaroni and cheese. We'll go ahead and get the brownies poured over in the bowl, and then we'll follow the instructions that's on the back. Because this is a box design item, we will follow closely the instructions on how to cook this particular item. So we will get 1/4 of water, 1/3 cup of vegetable oil, and we will also get 1 egg. So of course, even though it's a box item, I always use my measuring cups just like I am making it from scratch because I do not want to overfill it. I do not want to estimate on this particular item because being a box item, you do not know if you're putting too much of anything in it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera around so you can see the sink where I will go over and go ahead and wash off our measuring cup. As I stated, you will always keep clean water in this side of your sink so you can keep the items very clean. So now that we have those particular items clean, we'll let those sit over in the sink and dry. We'll go back over to our bowl. We need a big spoon. I could use a beater, but I will not be using one of those today because I'm not making it from scratch. I'll go ahead and just get a large spoon. As I stated, we'll dip it in our clean water, rinse off, because even though it's in the clean drawer, we still want to make sure it's clean. Every time I cook, I always have something to protect my hair because you do not want what you say hair in your food. I always cook with my hair wrapped up. It's just a family tradition, and that's what I do. So we'll get over here and we'll get to measuring out our stuff. I go ahead and get my measuring cups dried off because I had to clean them off. All right. So the box said that we need 1/4 cup of water. So what you'll do is you'll look on your measuring cup and you will find the 1/4. So we have 1/4 cup of water. We'll pour it over in. It says that we need 1/3 cup of oil. So once again, we'll go and get our vegetable oil. Also calls for 1 egg. So we will have to move our camera back just a little bit so I can get in the refrigerator to get an egg. Okay. Alrighty, so we'll put the camera back in the view where you all can see it. So you all can see where I am putting in the 1 egg. Alright, now that I have all the ingredients in, it calls for a non-stick pan, which we will get. As I step out my camera, I'm going to grab that pan. Alright, so I have my pan. Even though they come clean, I still rinse out everything I use. It is very helpful to make sure all your dishes are clean at the particular time of usage. And then we'll just go up and beat this up. And we'll just keep stirring so there is no more powder. All of it is all mixed in and it's ready to go in the pan for cooking. And as you can see that it's in there and I am beating it well. It may have been helpful to use a beater, but I'm not going to pull that out. This particular time, as I stated, on my next video, I'm going to do a 7-up pound cake from scratch. And even when you're live, also make sure that you're not talking directly over the food to protect it from germs and things. So also, always move the food so far back away from you, even though you're talking in your video. Alright, it calls for something to keep the pan, the food from sticking. So by me being a baker, you would use what is called baker's joy. Yes, this helps your cakes, your brownies and stuff not stick in the bottom of the pan. So this is a good tip for anyone that does any baking, so you'll know you need some baker's joy. You shake real well and you just spray just a little in the pan. You see, it's in the pan and it will keep my brownies from sticking. We'll go ahead, we'll move the pan here for steadiness, and we'll go ahead and pour the brownies over in it. As we go, we will clean up the kitchen. Alright, we'll get the brownies to get even in the pan. They are brownies, so they are thick. Alright, so the baking instruction is about 35 minutes. So we'll go ahead and we'll slide it in the oven. The next thing we would do is go ahead and heat up the next eye. What we'll be making next is macaroni and cheese. Even though I have deluxe brand, I will show you guys how to use this particular brand and how to turn it into a homemade macaroni and cheese. So stay tuned. Or in my particular pots, some of them actually have the quart size where you can measure the water so you won't overfill it. So we'll go ahead and we'll get this set on medium and let it go for a little while till the water comes to a boil. We'll add just a little salt in it because we will turn this item into a homemade macaroni cheese. Even though we are using deluxe from the box, I will show you guys how to turn deluxe into a homemade macaroni and cheese. We'll go ahead and add a little salt into the boiler, in the water, before it starts to boil. Because in this trick, I will show you guys where we will not add any salt into the macaroni and cheese and it would be delicious. We'll go ahead and clean back up the kitchen, like I said, as we go. It won't be a disaster in here when we finish. Dry back off your area so you can keep it very clean. You want to keep the area very clean at all times. For the ones that just joining, I am Shereka Renea. I am live doing a home cooked meal. And again, we are having field peas with snap. We are making homemade macaroni and cheese. I had a substitution today on doing brownies. I wanted to make a 7-Up cake from scratch, but I was unable to find the vanilla extraction, so therefore I postponed that. That would be in my next Sunday live cooking. So make sure you tune in, same time, same place. So right now we have the water on to boil the macaroni and cheese. I'm going to show you guys how to use deluxe and how to make deluxe macaroni and cheese into a scratch from homemade situation, starting from box, how to turn something into a homemade situation. So right now we have our water boiling. I will turn the camera so you guys can see it. We have the water boiling in this particular pot. We have our field peas with snap in this pot. We have them on low. We have not blended the item yet because we're waiting for it to simmer down some. So stay tuned and thank you, and make sure you give your girl a like. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe because I have an all-around channel, so you won't know exactly what you're getting from me until you tune in. Thanks. Make sure while you're cooking, you always keep your area very, very clean. I will go often on the camera when I have to get stuff that I need for my cooking. So I will go on and off the camera. As I'm going, I'm making sure my area stay clean because no one wants to eat in a house that's not clean. I will give you that tip. we'll go ahead and get this open, and we'll go ahead and remove the cheese pack out. And just go ahead and get it sit there. Remember, when you're doing live, you never want to be close over the food. So make sure you always open the food away from you, or you stir the food away from you. I'll go ahead and step off the camera and grab the pan for this particular item, because yes, on homemade, to make it into a homemade, you will have to bake it. So stay tuned. I use this particular pan. It is called J Chef by Jiffy Foil. It does real good when you're baking your homemade macaroni and cheese, because it's somewhat heavy duty, because you have to slide it in and out the stove when you're doing it for baking. So even though it's got a label, everybody know it came from the store, you're still gonna wash this particular item out. So we'll go ahead and remove the label, and we'll take it to the sink to clean it. So we have that particular item clean. We have it in the sink, drying out. So when we get ready to use it, we'll go ahead and wash back and dry out the measuring cup and return them back to their storage space. Like I said, you always want to keep your area clean. If you guys want to ask me some questions, I think they'll pop up on here, and I could respond to them. But by the way, thank y'all guys for tuning in. And don't forget to give your girl a like if you have not already. We have our brownies in the oven. We will be taking them out about 150. Our brownies are in the oven. We will remove those out about 150. We will need another big spoon because we have to constantly stir the macaroni. So let's go ahead and get that particular spoon that we will be using, and we'll go ahead and get it washed off. Big spoon. So we will also need some foil when we cover the macaroni and cheese. We will also need additional cheese. We will also need milk to complete this project. So I will show you the steps. First of all, we're still waiting for our water to warm up, to get to a boil, so we can get the macaroni and cheese on. I have the heat on medium. I don't want to boil it too fast, because if you boil water too fast, it'll boil out. So we don't want to do that. So we're waiting right now for the water to catch up and it to get a boil. We'll go ahead and peep in at our brownies to make sure they're going pretty good, and they are. Whew, they smell good. Your girl is in the kitchen cooking. I don't do a lot of live videos, but I thought when I do cooking, because I do from scratch, I would go live. So if you're liking it, make sure you give me a like. Don't forget to send a comment, and always try to subscribe. Turn the notification bell on so you won't have a hard time knowing when your girl is in the kitchen. Then when we go next, we'll go ahead and make cornbread muffins. I'm not going to do pan. I could make from scratch, but you know your girl sometimes is lazy. So I'm going to use Jiffy because everybody loves Jiffy. But it will also be done correctly as instructed on the back of the box. Only thing I'm tweaking to make into a homemade item is the macaroni and cheese. Besides the peas, they are already homemade. I started out with the ham hocks boiled first. That's why I started my live at 1 p.m. so I can give these time enough to boil. So I wash those real good. I put those in a pot and I let those boil about 45 to 50 minutes before I put the peas in. So if you see me walking off the camera, I'm getting other things that I need for this particular live. All right, so the water has still not boiled yet. We still waiting for it. And if you want to, some people usually put like a top full of vegetable oil in the water, like I said, to keep the macaroni and cheese from sticking. We're not at that point yet where I'm going to add just a top full, not a whole pan or not a whole jug of vegetable oil. And that will help us to keep our macaroni and cheese from sticking. Where you want to turn the macaroni and cheese into a correction. Where you want to turn it into a homemade. So in about a few minutes, we'll be able to add our macaroni and cheese. Right now, we still have our field peas on low. You don't want to cook those fast because you don't want them to be soft before they're done. So the biggest thing with the peas, you make sure you always put them on low and let them cook slow. And by the time everything else get done, the field peas will be done too. Again, there are field peas with snap. And they're smelling good, just like the brownies. Thanks to my family who support me on my YouTube. I love you guys. Thanks so much. I work very hard. It's very hard work and it's very tiring. But if you want your channel to succeed, as I made my video, go watch it. How to start your YouTube channel. You have to stay consistent. Consistent is the key. And it's a lot of work. So you have to work hard and let's do it. Also, you guys, I'm going to start doing a giveaway to the people who subscribe to my channel. The ones who like my videos, share them. I will be doing a giveaway to give back to the community to say thank you. Because you guys don't have to watch my videos. You don't have to watch my shorts. You don't even have to give me a like. So thank you guys for that. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And you already know it's Shereka Renea. Because I work very, very hard. It's even tiring. Especially when we are editing. Editing takes time. A lot of time. But you got to stay consistent. So we're waiting on the water to catch up. I don't want to do the cornbread yet. I will make that my last thing. I just wanted to go ahead and get the brownies out the way so they can be sitting over in the area cooling, because you don't want to cut them while they're hot because they'll tear up, and you know that I have a cover for that. So once it cools, I'm gonna cover it. So we'll give it a peek at the time right now. just to see and make sure everything is going well for them. They are. Once I'm able to pull them out the oven, I will show y'all a quick peep of them. I'll get my mitten out. And I will get my other piece out where I have to upload them out the oven so no one is getting burnt. We always cook with safety because no one wants to get burnt. So we'll sit those up there for the meantime. So the water is starting to pick up a little bit, so we'll go ahead and add our cap full of vegetable oil in this water. This water here, once again, is for the macaroni and cheese. I'm going to make boxed macaroni and cheese into homemade. So as you can see, I'm pouring the oil over in there. You only need a small cap full. A lot of people wonder, how could you turn box stuff into homemade? If you watch the steps that I am doing, you too can do it also. A lot of people think you have to follow directly what the box tell you. No, if you want to have your hands, your feet in it, then follow my directions. Our peas are coming on very, very well. So I'll give y'all a peep at those also. That would be my pot that I cook my pork chop in. I love everything deep fried. I do have a deep fryer, but I am so lazy. I don't pull it out that much anymore. So I have a nice, good pot. And I deep fry all my chicken, my pork chop in it. And I always could save the grease, just like a deep fryer, up to about 30 days. Depends on how much I use it. I typically don't fry probably but 3 times a month. So I can get 30 days out of the vegetable oil before I need to disregard it. Because frying is really, really not helpful for us. It causes heart problems. So therefore, I try to lower my frying and do more baking than frying. So every time I do home cooked meals, I'm going to go live so I can show you guys how I do it. So this water for our macaroni and cheese is showing that it's almost ready. We'll go ahead and give it a little bit up, a little bit more. This is a gas stove. So a lot of us are used to electric, yes, but this particular stove, this is my mom's old house. I miss her so much, but this is her old house. Well, it's still my mom's house, but it has a gas stove. So you got to be very important to cook with gas. You can't cook like you're on an electric stove, because I promise you, it'll burn up all your food. So you have to know how to use gas. You got to make sure everything is really cooked on low on gas, because it comes out quicker than electric. So we're going to give our water about 2 to 3 more minutes to boil, and then I'll go back and add the macaroni and cheese. So I'm going to step off camera for a second. Now I'm back. So every time you step out camera, whether you go touch some or not, you need to rewash your hands. So that's what I'll get done. I'll make sure my hand is clean, sanitized, because I'm going to get to messing with my macaroni and cheese. Alright. So now we'll go ahead and load the macaroni and cheese over in the water. Before we serve it, we'll go ahead and put both boxes in. And then we'll go ahead and start stirring it. The reason we are stirring this is to keep it from sticking. You do not want it to stick. And we'll leave that cooking where it's at. So if you're a girl like me and you love to cook, then you know you need a spoon rest. I will go ahead and get my spoon rest cleaned off because I haven't used it today. So we'll go ahead and get the spoon rest here. And what you do is rest your spoons here for the items that you're cooking. so you don't have to worry about it getting on your counter or getting in your way. Whew. I tell y'all, those brownies are smelling good. So let's peep in at the brownies. We will get our mitten for safety. We'll go ahead and pull it out and see what it looks like. Oh my God, it looks well. So we'll give our brownies about 5 more minutes. Do not burn them now. We'll give them 5 more minutes and we'll go ahead and work with them. We will stir the macaroni and cheese consistently so it do not stick. Our peas are starting to pick up now, so they're really smelling well. So we'll make sure those stay on low because, as I told you before, gas cooks faster than the electric. We'll put our spoon back in the rest, and we'll keep an eye on our macaroni. On our brownies and our macaroni and cheese, because the macaroni and cheese are now becoming to a boil. We will also next need a strainer. Yes, you have to strain the excessive water off your macaroni and cheese. This is a strainer. If some of you guys don't know what we need this particular item to strain the excessive water off our macaroni and cheese before we return it to the pan to mix everything together so we can give it its bake time. I'm going to go ahead and move my camera up a little bit so you guys can watch me do this. I'm going to go ahead and retrieve all the items that I'm going to need for the macaroni and cheese so we won't have to worry about moving the camera up again. We'll go ahead and get this camera up where you can watch me. Like I said, turn deluxe macaroni and cheese into a homemade scratch meal. So even though this pan came out the clean area of the kitchen, we still, like I said, wash it off. You don't really need to dry that particular item off because it's going to get water in it, but you do need to make sure you wash it off. So what I usually do is wash it off and turn it upside down. And it'll drain some of the water off. Of course, we have our peas here. They're coming along really well. So at this particular time, we are able to get us a large spoon. After spoon draw, we'll wash it off because that's what you do when you're cooking. You make sure everything is clean at that particular time. Even though it's been washed in the past, you just always make sure it's clean. And we'll go ahead and stir the peas. And what you're doing is you're mixing them up to make sure all the seasoning get through it. They smell good. And you return the top. This particular spoon you're going to turn upside down because we're not going to use that for our macaroni and cheese. And you're just going to stir the macaroni and cheese consistently. Let those boil for a little while and then we'll be on. So we know that our brownies should be ready. So we'll go ahead and pull that particular item out and set it to the side for cooling. Once it get to cooling, I'm going to go ahead and put a top over it. I'm going to let it go for a few more seconds. Let's get a brownie about 2 more minutes. Even though the top could be done, the bottom in the middle could be still a little wet. way, I use firmware cookware. They're really good. You can buy those at Bed Bath and Beyond. You can sometimes catch them on sale. You can also catch them at the at-home store at a real good price. They are real good. Most of their product is non-stick. So we'll go ahead and take our brownies out, and I'll show you guys how they look before I place them in the cooling area. This is our brownie today. Before I put them in the cooling area, I made them from the box, but I also read the instruction really well. That is a substitution item due to me not being able to find vanilla extraction. So that is a substitution item. But the next item I will bake on next Sunday, I work all week to get the ingredients, is the 7-Up pound cake homemade. All right. So our noodles for the macaroni and cheese are coming along pretty good. We'll give those about 5 more minutes, and then we will drain those, and then we'll go on with our steps or turning those particular items into a homemade. First way, you're gonna first of all turn it. You will use the cheese packs that comes in the pack. A lot of people don't know you still need to use these particular items, but you also need the Kraft macaroni cheese needs this mild cheddar. This what makes it homemade. Along with, you will need some milk. You will need whole milk. If you lactose, then do almond milk or do 1%, but you will need milk to make this particular item homemade. Remember to stir the noodles consistently so they don't stick. We'll go ahead and stir our peas also because they are cooking really well. I don't know if you guys can see those. I might have to get my phone off the tripod to bring it a little closer to show you guys how the peas are coming along. They are cooking really good. They're smelling good. So we'll just go ahead and put that spoon in that rest, and then we'll deal with the next thing that we'll do. Once we're getting closer to the macaroni and cheese getting done along with the peas, we'll go ahead and get our pork chop season. We will be having fried pork chop for the meat. And everyone knows that when you do fried pork chop, a lot of people don't know, to make it taste really good, let's add some lemon pepper seasoning in it. I get this particular items at Sam's. You can add it with your other seasoning to your meat that you're gonna fry, and oh my God, it's finger looking good. So therefore, try to get some of this and add it to your things that you like to fry. Do not be heavy on it, no, because you may make it too salty or too lemony or too pepperish, because you still got to add a little of regular pepper to it. Once our brownies cool, I will cover them. I have a cover for those. Once they cool, I'll go ahead and get those particular items covered. All right, so the macaroni and cheese is done. So we'll go ahead and we're gonna get our safety mittens on so we can go ahead and strain the water off the macaroni and cheese. So we can turn this particular item into a home cooked meal. We'll go ahead and put the oil back up. We have to put the oil back up. We're gonna move the spoon rest out the way because it could get in your way sometimes. So I dropped that on the floor. I wasn't using it for anything anyway, so we'll just get that in the trash as soon as I can get my macaroni and cheese drained. Okay? So as you can see, my steps went good. The macaroni and cheese did not stick to the pot. me get this and trash this before we trip. And we don't want to do any falling. Alright. So now that I have my macaroni and cheese all boiled, here's my pan that I cleaned out. We're going to return the noodles to that pan. Here's my noodles going in. Make sure you rinse out the sink because the oil was in that water. You don't want it clogging up your plumbing. Even though you did not put that much, it will still cause plumbing issues down the line. So we'll go to our next step, and this is turning the macaroni and cheese into homemade. So if you like me, like I said, I use everything from Faberware, so it comes with scissors. You'll go ahead and add the cheese in it because the macaroni and cheese is still hot. We'll go ahead and turn the oven up to 375 when you're baking macaroni and cheese because you don't want to leave it in there too long. You just really want to get it in there so it can assemble the cheese all together. So right now we have the oven on 350, and that was from the brownies that we made earlier. So we'll go ahead and get it up to 375. You'll need a knife so you can go ahead and get the cheese cut. This will be the additional cheese that you need to add in. Of course, we won't drop a block over in there, so we will need to cut it. All right. You don't have to cut the blocks small, so don't think you need to cut them small. Just make sure you cut them and get them over in there. All right. So now that we got the cheese, the Kraft additional mild cheddar in there, we'll go ahead and we'll go to the next step. We're going to go ahead and add some seasoning. Like I said, we would not add salt to this particular item because we put salt in the water. A lot of people think that you need salt in macaroni and cheese. You really don't. This is the particular season that I put in my macaroni. This is all you needing to give it the flavor that you want it to have. We'll add some black pepper because we're not putting salt, but we will add black pepper. Also, once again, make sure you judgmental on your season where you don't over season it. Then we'll go ahead and add the whole milk. Be judgmental on how much whole milk that you need to add in this particular item. We'll go ahead and do some stirring to mix around the cheese and the seasoning. But I have a small milk. It would take all of that to get the macaroni and cheese to the cheesy taste that we like. If you use a half a gallon, then be judgmental. If you use a whole gallon, be very judgmental. not to put too much milk in. Those peas are really smelling good. Ooh, sometimes that season get you, but hurry up and get out. It be mostly that pepper. Alrighty, now that we have the cheese from the box, the additional cheese in, we will go ahead and get this item in the oven for bake. I will show you exactly how the item look before we bake it. And again, this is homemade macaroni and cheese. We're going to go ahead and get some of our trash up out of our way. Like I said, you got to always cook in a neat area. Alright, so just in time for bake. I'm going to show you guys, that's how it should look before you bake it. That's how it should look before you bake it. Go ahead and get a piece of foil and put on this particular item. All right, so we got about 20 minutes to 25 minutes on that particular item. So your girl is back. Got to wash my hands again. Every time I walk off the camera, you need to re-clean your hands. I have the macaroni and cheese spoon here. I need to put it over on the spoon rest so it's up out our way. Then I'll grab the top here for the to cover the brownies. As I said, as you go, make sure you keep some good dish water over here so you could keep the kitchen clean. So we'll go ahead and get our brownies covered. Here's our cover for the brownies that we'll put on top to keep anything from getting in it. So while we're doing that, we'll go ahead and take a look here at our peas to see how they're coming along. We'll go ahead and add just a little bit more seasoning into them. I'm going to take the camera off the tripod to let you guys see how our peas are coming along. I'm going to make sure the lens on the back is clean because I'm just going to flip it over. Here is our filled peas with snap. We have the ham hocks in those today. We have already added seasoning to it, but we will add a little bit more to make sure that there's enough seasoning in this particular item. Filled peas with snap. So now I'll take the camera back and put it back on the tripod so you guys could continue to watch me in this home cooked meal. All right. So we'll add just a little bit more seasoning to our peas. The reason that you add a little bit more, because once everything unthawed and cooks together, it will absorb mostly the seasoning that you put in. Remember never to be heavy-handed on the seasoning. Use a lot of judgmental. Let me just go grab my tablet so I can call that particular person on FaceTime. All right, sorry about that, guys. I had to step out the camera and was getting a call that I needed to call back on FaceTime. All right, so what we're doing now is I'm washing back up the dishes that I use. As I said, we always want to keep the kitchen area very clean when we're cooking. Well, we're on live in person, got guest presence or not, you always keep the area you're cooking in very clean. All right. So now, the next part that we're going to work on is cooking our pork chop. We have our macaroni and cheese in the oven. Our field peas with snap are doing really, really well. We have our brownies doing good. And we also have our macaroni and cheese, again, in the oven. We'll take a peep at that. We have it covered with foil, so we'll let it go a little while longer. Of course, I will show y'all guys the end results. So next thing we'll do is go ahead and pull out our pork chop, get it seasoned, get the oil, vegetable oil in the boiler to be getting hot. Of course, I do have a deep fryer, but your girl is lazy, so I always use a pot. This same particular pot is from the firmware collection. I had it. My mom gave it to me. Probably when I got my first house, my mom gave me this particular item as a housewarming gift. So I have taken very good care of this item. So we'll go ahead and start adding oil into the boiler. You always finish off your old one as it could expire. All right, you guys. Once again, when you step out the camera, you always re-disinfect your hands. All right. So what we was doing next is we was going ahead adding our vegetable oil in for our next thing that we're gonna do, and that is the fried pork chops. I like this particular vegetable oil. It comes from Sam's. It fries good, fries the meat really well. Sometimes I'll use peanut oil for healthy, to lower the cholesterol and stuff. So we'll go ahead and just add some more into this particular oil. Once again, when you pour the oil in, be very judgmental. All right. So by this particular one is open, I will put it up in a stash where I know that it's open for the next time of use. While we're going to cut this eye on medium to give our pork chop time to, give the oil time to heat up before we start working on seasoning our pork chop, we'll go ahead and stir our peas. And they are still doing really well. We'll go ahead and get this particular eye on. Once again, I am using a gas stove, so make sure you always try to cook on this particular item medium to low because it'll burn your food. Sorry about that close view in the camera, guys, but I have to get the pork chop out as I showed y'all earlier. Every time I cook, whether it's on Sunday dinner or anytime, I always use fresh items. I go that particular day to get the items because I like everything fresh. You want some plastic? Where? Oh, it's raining. All right, we're gonna get our bowl back out, guys, because we're gonna season our pork chop in there. Even though you guys know I just washed this bowl, we still gonna rinse it out again because it has been put up in storage. So what we'll do next is we'll go ahead and take the pork chop out the package, and we'll go ahead and get this particular item washed down also. Alright guys, so again I stepped out the camera accordingly. Every time I step out, you need to rewash your hands, whether you touch something or not. It's just good cleaning. Next thing we'll do is go ahead and get this meat washed off. We don't know what the people at the packaging store hands has been, so therefore we make sure we know that it's clean. Okay? Turn the camera up a little bit so you guys could watch me get it cleaned off. And as I clean it, I'm going to drop it over in my bucket for seasoning. I know my background is silent, but you know, with YouTube, you can easily get a copyright claim. So therefore, I try not to play no music or have anything going on where I would get a copyright claim because I am working very hard to get my channel off the ground and I don't need those things. All right. Now that we have our pork chop nice and clean, we'll go on next to the next step of getting it seasoned. We're going to clean out the area that we use to clean the pork chop, because that's a part of the cleaning rule. Keeping your area clean at all times. All right. So first, your girl already told you about I like to put lemon pepper on my meats when I'm frying it, because it's something about lemon pepper that makes your meat really taste well. So I told you guys I like to use the brand Tones lemon pepper. I do have some left over in an older bottle, so we'll go ahead and try to use that particular one first. Always, once again, be judgmental of the season that you want to put on your food. This is a lot of meat, so we'll go ahead and try to finish what's in here. And if it's not enough, I'll open a new bottle. Alright, so now we are done with the lemon pepper. We'll go ahead and put that back in the cabinet. Next, we'll go ahead and add some accent. This is some really good seasoning to your food. Once again, remember to be judgmental. Never over-season the food. We're done with this, so we'll go ahead and return that to its station. Next, just because lemon pepper have pepper in it, you always want to add real pepper. Do not over pepper it. Do not over season it. Be, once again, judgmental. We'll return it back to its station. Next, a lot of people do not know about the nature season. It is real nature season. It have different kinds of seasoning in it, and it's real good for us. It's actually got onions in it, but you can never taste it in your food. So let's add some of that. Next, we're going to do some paprika. A lot of people do not know about paprika. It is also a great seasoning. As you can see, it got tomatoes in it, got onions in it, and it also got celery in it. This is real good, and it makes your food taste really well. We will add some of this. Finally, salt. Always try to use salt with iodine. A lot of people do not know what's the difference between plain salt and salt with iodine. Iodine is great for our teeth to help them stay healthy and help them stay white. Once again, with the salt, please, please, please be judgmental. Now that we have all our seasoning in the bowl, we'll go ahead and start mixing the pork chop together. And when you're mixing it together, you're blending it together to put it in flour to bake it. Fry it, correction, fry it. really good seasoning, you would see that it should look like mine. As you can see, let's bring it in a little bit. It should look just as this. Seasoned really, really well. We'll sit that there for a minute and let it sit on the season while we grab the bag, the flour bag, so we can start dropping it over in the grease. Every time you step away from the cooking area, always remember to wash your hands. And if you have nails, as I do, I keep my nails done, I always make sure to get under your nails, washing it every time thoroughly. Because you don't want to hold germs nowhere when it's dealing with your food. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and get a peep in on the macaroni and cheese, because I don't think the oil is ready for the pork chop just yet. Remember your safety mitt. And what we'll do is we'll lift the foil up just a peep. The macaroni and cheese is coming along just fine. So we'll slide it back in for about another 20-25 minutes. So I'll scoop my camera back really quickly because I need to get in the fridge to access the flour bag. I'm going to turn the camera towards the stove because I will be fried now at this point. I'm going to go ahead and get my area ready for my pork chop when I'm bringing it out the grease. So let me go ahead and start getting the things I need. I would need napkins. What you do with the napkins is you would strain the grease off. We'll go ahead and get the frying fork. You need the frying fork, which is this. Even though it is in the clean stock, you always want to wash this item off. All right, now that I got this particular item washed off, I want to dry it off. I'm going to scoot my camera back just a little so you guys can see me at the stove cooking the meat. Of course, the old-fashioned way is to test the grease. So we got to test our grease. It's not quite ready yet. So what we'll go ahead and do is we'll get back into checking our field piece here. We are checking on our field piece. We have added all the needed seasoning. So we're just letting those cook on low. And like I said, with a gas furnace, you need to be judgmental on the heat because they will cook faster than electric. So always cooking on gas, make sure you cook your item on low. So I'm going to need to pull my camera up just a little, you guys, so you guys can see a little bit more better. All right, so we still waiting on our grease to heat up. We have our macaroni and cheese in the oven. So far we have our brownies ready. And next step and final step would be cornbread. I took and went out the easy way. I'm gonna make jiffy today. I'm not up for scratch because I'm gonna make cornbread muffins. But still, I'll show you guys that easy step. I'll show you how to get it in the oven, how to cook it. But the most important thing we're cooking today that is really hard to cook is field piece with snap, homemade macaroni and cheese, and we're gonna do some fried pork chop. Don't forget to hit a like for your girl, and also make sure if you're not subscribed to my channel to subscribe, because you will never know what you will get from me. I have an all-around channel. My channel talks about cooking, it talks about shopping, and it talks about hair. I do a lot of lock hair because my husband have locks. So I do a lot of detox. I show you how to wash them. I also show you how to retwist and style. So give your girl a thumbs up right now if you have not, and also subscribe and turn the notification bell on. So we'll repeat again to check our grease and see is it ready. Yes, I am old-fashioned. I like to make sure I clean out the bags. Most times I go in the store when I need a new flour bag. I would just get some new bags from the store. And I would put the flour over in it. Not right that moment, but I'll get down to it. So of course we're going to make sure my hands are clean, even though I haven't been anywhere. And we're going to check our grease. Our vegetable oil look like it's ready to go. So we'll get in the mix of frying us some good old pork chop. So I'm going to turn my camera around towards the meat real quick so you guys will see my next step or what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove my meat from the bowl where I seasoned it at and put it over in the bag to mix it up. Like I said, when you're on camera or not, always never talk over the food because you don't want to spread germs. Me being me, I usually put about 2 in at a time to get them floured good and make sure all this stuff is on it the way you need it to be. So when I get it out the boiler, all I have to do is go in to drop it over in the grease. The grease is showing that it's really well ready for it, but we're going to make sure. We'll do another test run here with the vegetable oil to make sure it's ready to go. So now I turn you guys back to here so you can see the focus of this. So it's showing that it's ready to go. Always make sure you shake off the excess flour. So you don't have a crummy bottom. All right, so that's where it's gonna come in, where we're gonna use our fork. We're just gonna move the meat around so it's not cooking on top of one another, and make sure it get cooked properly. You will see me wash this area a lot because the flour is on my hand. I would not wash my hand off until I have dropped all meat into the vegetable oil. If you have not already liked my video, like my video. If you're not subscribed to my channel, then please subscribe. While we're doing that, we can go ahead and peep in to see how our macaroni and cheese is coming along. It's smelling very well, so we'll stay tuned with that. All right, so you be judgmental. A lot of people like to wait until their meat start floating to know that it needs to flip. But in some cases, you need to be judgmental when you frying things because all things don't float. Sometimes it starts floating when it's burning. When those two pieces come to about where they're almost done, I go ahead and I drop another piece over in the grease. Like I said, the excess flour always shake off. Make sure you keep your cooking area very clean. I have flour just flying. All right, so our first two pieces are about ready to come out. So we'll take a look and see how they did. This is our first piece. We'll let it stay over the grease for just a little while. And we'll take it to the plate where it can. This is our first piece. How your girl is doing. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe if you have not already did so. We'll go ahead and flip that piece. Well, this piece is ready. We're going to flip the third piece now that we inserted. The girl got this pork chop golden brown. Remember to always shake off the excessive flour. I don't know if you guys picked up that I added more seasoning into the filled piece with snap, but you have to have what you call a tester plate. The reason you want a tester plate is you want to test the food after it's been going for a while to see if it got enough seasoning and is it to the taste that you want. While we letting this go, we'll go ahead and check the macaroni and cheese to see what's going on with it. Macaroni and cheese is doing really well. It's almost ready. I'll show you guys it. We'll go ahead and turn the oven up to 400 to finalize the macaroni and cheese because it'll be just in time for us to bake the cornbread. We'll go ahead and stir the peas again. Make sure y'all have a good view of that. The particular meat that I use for the peas is called smoked ham hock. That is how smoked ham hock look. I don't know if you guys can see it from back there, but I'm not in a position. I could take the camera off the tripod to show you guys, and I will after a while. Because right now I'm messing with the pork chop. So I'm trying to do multiple things. And of course, you know your girl only got 2 hands. So this particular piece is done. It's golden brown. We'll go ahead and put it over in the draining station so the excessive grease, vegetable oil, or whatever you want to call it, could not be on it when we get ready to serve it. We'll move these 2 pieces around. We'll move those 2 pieces around so they're not cooking on top of one another. Maybe go ahead and flip them. If you haven't already liked my video, please like. If you have any questions you want to ask me, don't hesitate to comment. So we have turned the oven up to 400 to prep it for the macaroni and cheese because the pork chop, the macaroni and cheese is almost done to prep it for the cornbread. So therefore, we would need to keep a watch on it. I put your Gatorade in the freezer. In the door. You need it. So we'll go ahead and check our macaroni and cheese. Alright, it's coming along pretty well. I'll show you guys because that's going to be one item I won't be able to hold up to the camera. So I will take the camera off the tripod to show you guys. This is a really nice stove. It is a Whirlpool stove. It is one of the ones that comes with a built-in air fryer. If you like me, trying to stay healthy, keep your cholesterol low. I do try to air fry a lot of my stuff. I typically would air fry my pork chop. I would not fry mine in vegetable oil, but today your girl is doing this live, so therefore I don't mind eating a piece of fry. Because the 2 pieces that I have in there are almost done, we'll go ahead and drop another one in the grease. Remember to shake off the excessive flour. So we'll go ahead and we'll start picking up on the ones that's in here that's done. Like I said, you have to be very judgmental. Some people like to wait till they stuff float. People like me just know when it's ready. And of course you can see that this particular meat, I'll bring it close to the camera, is golden brown. Golden brown. I always place it there to drain the excessive grease off. That's just one of the things I like to do. Some people like theirs and greasy. I'm the type of person, I don't like mine's greasy. We have a couple more pieces of pork chop and then we will be done with this particular meal. Don't forget we cut our macaroni and cheese up a little bit to 400. So we will need to keep an eye on that and I'll get right over to that shortly. We're dropping our final piece of pork chop today. And of course that flour could get everywhere. That's why we go back to having dish water at dish station to keep the area clean. That flour will drop everywhere. We'll go ahead while we have the oven open and check our macaroni and cheese. Alright, we'll go ahead and stir by piece and we'll go in and check our macaroni and cheese because you don't want to dry it out. So let's go ahead and take a peep at that. And as I said, when it's done, I'm going to take the camera off the tripod to show you guys the end result on it. Trying to get my area cleaned back up because the bowl that I used to season the food, I need to use again to make up the macaroni. I mean, make up the cornbread. Sorry about that. We need to let the macaroni and cheese go just a little bit longer. I'm going to uncover it for the last 5 minutes to go ahead and let it get the cheese, and then I'll cover it when I remove it from the stove. If you ain't liked the video yet, make sure you give your girl a like. Make sure you comment, and please subscribe. And for all my late joiners, this was a live cooking of home cooked meal, field peas with snap, fried pork chop, macaroni and cheese. We're going to make some cornbread muffins, and we already made dessert, which is brownies. And that was a substitution because your girl had planned to make a 7-up cake on live, and I will be doing that on next Sunday because I need to locate the ingredients for this particular meal. So while we're waiting on those items to get done, we'll go ahead and start working on the cornbread. Of course, when I do Jiffy, I always get it at Sam's because it's cheaper. It's only about $2 for a large box instead of buying the small boxes for 50 cents. Okay, so you know every time you step off camera, no matter if you touch some or not, you need to rewash your hands. All right, so we need 1/3 cup of milk for this particular item. Since I'm gonna do muffins, a lot of people don't know that I am lactose, so a lot of times I use almond milk. I do use regular milk depending on what I'm gonna cook, as I did put regular milk into the macaroni and cheese. But on this particular item, I will use almond milk. It is real good for our body, and it helps with if you lactose. And it also have extra calcium in it for our bones. All right. So we need an egg. So we'll go ahead and get that egg in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab the muffin pans while I'm off camera. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to wash my hands because I stepped off camera to get the muffin pans. While we're at it, we'll go ahead and check our final pieces of pork chops that's in the boiler. I don't use a big spoon when I'm whipping on my cornbread. I like to use a small spoon so I can control it well. So all of this is proven to be done. It's golden brown. I'm going to bag the camera up so you guys can see me actually take it out. And let y'all be the judge of how good that I do. Golden brown. So what we do is leave it over the grease some, and we'll let it sit for a few minutes to have the final grease drains. Remember to watch this video to see the seasoning that I use to cook this particular item. So now that we're done with our pork chop, we will go ahead and shut off this particular eye. Oh! Y'all be careful. I did not have the meat on the fork good. So now I got a small grease spill. That I'm going to need to clean up. Now. So let's work on the grease clean. I got a grease splash. Kind of went far. Be careful, you guys, because I did not have the meat on the fork right. And it fell back off in the grease. But I'll come back because I have to wait till this particular eye clean so I can get up under the eyes to clean off the grease spill. And I'm going to go ahead in and check out macaroni and cheese. Alright, so the macaroni and cheese is almost at its end. We'll go ahead and swap it around and give it about a few more minutes to go. So that is a lot of grease. So I'm going to have to clean it. Once this grease sits, I'll be able to remove some of the stuff. Well, if y'all know me, you know I'm hard here. Stuff coming up out the mitten. So how about I just go ahead and put the mitten back on my hand and pick up the metal tray that keeps the eyes safe. And then your girl can go in and get this grease up. I should be waiting till this thing is cool, and that's what I think I'm gonna do, because this thing is pretty hot. So let's just go ahead and scoop that back right there for now, and we'll go ahead and wait until it's cooled down and I can clean this area good. But of course your girl had a grease spill, because I did not have the meat on the fork good. Alright, so let's go on to the next thing that we're doing. And that is making the cornbread. I have added in the egg now, so we just beat it. Alright, your girl gonna use muffin pans again. They are from Jiffy Foil. They are real good. They are cheap. You do not have to have expensive items to use when you're baking in. But usually when I cook, I always use the brand name product, because you do not want your food having a certain taste. So we'll go ahead and remove one of them and we'll rinse it off. You will get a paper towel to dry each section due to you needing to put a little vegetable oil in each hole. So your girl stepped off camera, and I'm going to dip my hand back in my fresh water that I have here, even though I did not do anything. Every time you step out camera, make sure that you rewash your hands. Okay. Now that we have all these holes dried out, we will get our vegetable oil. I typically do a top full because you don't need a lot. You just want to put a little in there to keep the product from sticking. When I do a top, I usually just stick these 2 fingers in there and just rub it around each hole. That's the only thing we're focusing on to keep it from sticking. That's why when you're cooking, you make sure to keep your hands clean, because you don't know when you're going to have to actually do something with your fingers. So you actually just rub it all around. Usually I'll put Pam in here, but it calls for vegetable oil, and I'm doing it on live, so I just follow all the instructions. While I'm over here, we'll go ahead and serve our peas. But let us take a look at our macaroni and cheese, because we do have that at a different temperature. Trying to go ahead and get it done. And we are done. We're showing that our macaroni and cheese is ready. So we'll take the camera off the tripod in just a few seconds when I get ready to load the cornbread in and show you the macaroni and cheese results. Alright, we're going to whoop this on up again. Show y'all how this looks. This is the cornbread. Make sure you stir it away from you if you're talking. Alright, so now we'll call that bake time. Alright, so I promised you guys to show y'all the macaroni and cheese as I get ready to remove it out the oven and put the foil back on it. So let me move back this tripod so y'all can see this beautiful macaroni and cheese that we done made together on live. Homemade. Could you see it? It is baked. It smells good. And it's ready. And since it's ready, we'll just sit it over here on my toaster for cooling. Then we'll go on to loading the cornbread muffins. Once the cornbread muffins are done, I will end my live because that is the end of my cooking for today. I will show you those guys and we will be done. So if you haven't already liked my video, please like. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. And make sure to turn on the notification because on next Sunday, I will be doing another live and I will show you guys how to make from scratch a homemade 7-Up pound cake. So I have to start working on this grease spill that I have while we letting the muffins cook. It ain't nothing to figure out. And I need to stop somewhere. I'm gonna work on my grease spill, guys. But that was a careless mistake. So when y'all cooking, y'all make sure that y'all are doing things right. Because I was too busy looking at the camera and I didn't pay attention that the meat was not all the way on the fork. We'll let the cornbread muffins cook, and while they're cooking, I'll go ahead and start my cleaning process to end my live. We'll go ahead also and get the peas. Get the peas added. I meant served good to make sure they're ready. Let me make sure it's not in. But let me give you a sample of the peas. Any peas? We're going to get you a fork. This is my stuff. A fork. And tell me, do we need any more seasoning or anything? What fork? You want me to get it? No. Yeah, you. My hand. Also, when your girl be cooking, I be waist training. Yes, waist training. I cannot get a BBL. So, your girl be waist training when she cooking. Oh, yeah. Don't need nothing. But eating. But eating. Yep. I could put the top over the grease, but I'm going to wait. Because your girl needs to clean the grease spill up I got. So I'm just going to do something simple to keep the grease covered for future use. I'm just going to slide it to the back eye because I need to get this grease spill I done made up.
When you make butter?
Huh?
When you make the butter?
I'm going to make cake next week. I don't have any vanilla extraction. I'm going to go live next Sunday.
I said, when you going to make the plate?
The plate?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, not yet. Food not ready. I got to wear
It ain't ready.
cornbread muffins. Nope, they're gone.
You said I want to cook cornbread.
Alright. So the final thing we're waiting on before we end this live is cornbread. If you haven't already like. If you have not subscribed, subscribe. So you can turn on notification for next week. Your girl gonna go live. I don't know what Sunday dinner would be, but it's gonna be, of course, something from scratch. So maybe we may do some okra and tomato, some fried chicken. I'm gonna make that pound cake. So stay tuned. So your girl is off camera. I'm making my final dishwater, you guys, to make sure everything is clean. Of course, you know I got to clean up my grease still. So I have washed the utensils that I used for this live. I will return them back to their storage space, and we'll be done. Thank you guys for watching. If you have not already liked this video, please like. If you want to drop me a comment, and I will reply back. We will go ahead again and stir our peas. So they are at the end. We're just about done. So, yeah, that'll be it. We'll take a peep in at our cornbread muffins because they is the last thing that we have on the list. And they are cooking good. It's very hard to clean up this grease still. And also, I like to use that particular knife set. Also, they have great knives. As I told you earlier, they have great cookware. They have great everything. That particular brand. Once I remove the cornbread muffins out, I would stop this live because I am officially done with what I cooked for Sunday dinner or what's in the kitchen for Sunday dinner. Y'all tell me which one y'all like better, what I cook or what's in the kitchen. And your girl will make sure she modified for next time. Muffins are doing really well. Just stir the peas. I'll get the camera and show you their final resort once the cornbread is ready. And again, what's in the kitchen is filled peas with snap, macaroni and cheese, fried pork chop, walnut brownies, and of course, you can't get away with not having the cornbread muffins. So the muffins are still in the oven, and we would be just about done with this live once I pull them guys out. I'm kind of like working on my grease spill, guys. Some of y'all know that I have it. For the ones just joining, make sure when you cook with safety. I did not have the meat all the way up on the fork, and it slipped off and made a grease spill. I do forget that my stove have a light, so I don't have to open it. I can just peek in at the product, and it is still cooking very well. I'm gonna move this out the way real quick because your girl wants something to drink. A lot of people that have stainless steel appliances like I do, this is very great for cleaning it. I use this little cloth after I wipe it down to get the excess oil off and give it the good finish that it needs. All right, guys. So we're gonna do this final thing. Check for the cornbread muffins and see if they're done. Once we get those out, I would officially end the live. They are not done yet. They still got a little bit more to go. So we'll just turn them around, slide them back in. thank y'all again. This live did go a while, but when you're cooking from scratch, you got to start from the beginning to make it to the end. So thank you for the ones that gave me a like. If you dropped a comment, because it goes so fast and then my back is turned a lot, I will reply once I end the live. So thank y'all so very much. And like I said, make sure if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Because I will be doing another live on next Sunday. And like I said, it's gonna be something from scratch. So I think I'm gonna do like okra and tomatoes, fry some chicken, and of course your girl want that 7-Up pound cake. So we will be making that on live next week. But we'll go ahead and get all our food started to do the pound cake while the food is cooking on low. Everyone is ready to eat, but we are waiting on the muffins. That's the last item in the kitchen that got to be cooked. Then I'll wait for the stove to settle down from the heat, and then I'll come clean up my grease still. Again, tell a friend, tell another friend about my channel. It's an all-around channel. I do cooking, shopping, lock care. If you know someone who have locks, make sure you tell them to subscribe, because I will be doing an upcoming video. I need to redo my husband's hair. So you will see me washing it, retwisting it, and styling it. I don't know what style I'm going to give him just yet. So you guys stay tuned for that. Alright, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and take the phone off the tripod and show you guys the fill piece, because they're done, so I can go ahead and get those shut off. Like I said, we have fill piece with snap. The meat that we use to help season it, besides the seasoning, is smoked ham hocks. The peas are officially done. These are fill peas with snap. We have ham hocks. The reason we have about 4 in there, because the ham hocks are small. They are not the big size anymore. So it would take more product to help season the meat. Season the food. So now the last thing we're waiting for is our muffins. We can cover that back up because everything is shut off here. All right. Just about there. Hang tight. They're just about there. right, you already know if your girl step off camera, I have to wash my hands, whether I have did something or not. You always got to clean, cook very clean. All right, guys, let's take a look. See if our cornbread muffins are done, and they are. They are officially done, and they would officially end our live. I'm going to show you these guys, and I would like to thank you guys, the ones that like my videos, the ones that have tuned in with me. Again, next Sunday we will have another live. These are my cornbread muffins. We will sit these guys over here to cool. And like I stated, this will end my live. So if you have not liked this video already, make sure you give it a like. If you ain't comment, drop a comment. And if you have not, mostly important, subscribe. Please subscribe. Turn on the notification bell, because your girl will be going live cooking on every Sunday that I cook, so I can show you guys how to make a lot of homemade food, along with cakes, pies from scratch. So with no further ado, you already know what to do. Thank you. Bye.